Hi, and welcome back to Almost a Green Acre. This is Dare to Dream, and I'm on the north side of my property, standing at the back side of my house. And we were already looking at the east side on the previous video. So this is my north side here. Back where the tree line is, there is another property owner. So I just want to take a walk out and show you. Here's some more. Let me just get over this little ditch here. So this is some more hostas and other perennials that have been planted, and I'm sort of standing in a ditch right now. They go, you can sort of see it going all the way kind of up under the east side of the house. Let me just show you from a different angle here. So underneath the skirting, what I'm going to be turning into garden beds, you see a hole there. And if you just follow these hostas that I have planted here, it kind of goes, it wraps all the way. It's like a little ditch. And that's basically where I had the water line from the well, which is over there beside the wood pile. If you can see that at the top of your screen, there's a well there. So I had to have a line dug all the way from the well to all along here to the back side of my property, and it goes underneath the house and into the utility room outside. So out of this little ditch that was dug, all these rocks that you see over here at the fire pit came out of that little trench, if you can believe that or not. These things are massive. So there's a lot of rocks on this property. And this is a wood pile that scraps of wood, little bits and pieces that I'm not going to be using. And obviously it's full of nails, and I've used a lot of the pallets, cut the ends of the pallets off here. Here's a piece here I can show you. So that one came off of a pallet, and some of these I'm actually going to be reusing for the side pieces. But all these massive rocks, and actually there was more here. I've taken some of them out to the front on the south side, but it makes a really nice border for a fire pit. And some more massive tall grass. Some of it I was able to maintain and keep up to last summer, and some of it just totally got away on me. Now, you see this big mound here at the back of the property. I'm assuming that one of the property owners that owned it before me just had a excavator or something like that, and they just pushed a big pile of dirt or something up here in the corner of my northwest border of my property, and I'm going to be working away at this pile because I don't want it there. I'd like to have it flat, and if there's usable soil in there, then I'd like to use it. Just going to turn around here, show you see the post back there where the property line is. I'm just going to keep walking here. So here I'm looking at a property that doesn't belong to me. This is not mine, but there's all kinds of garbage in here and row and whatever. But this here section does belong to me, and it's an absolute mess. It just looks like somebody took a bulldozer or whatever they had, excavator, and they just piled everything here. So I can see some car parts and just garbage and trash, and I'll eventually get to it and get it cleaned up. Yeah, so it's a mess. It's not a high priority, that's for sure, but I'd like to get rid of it and get it all cleaned up, and I got some work ahead of me. Yeah, so sun's coming out, so hopefully you guys will be able to see. So there's the fire pit again. There's the back side of the house. Last fall, early part of the fall, If you see where that red door is there leaned up against the house, that's just a door that was on the property when I bought it. And I stuck it over there as just sort of a makeshift skirting around the house. But there is a back door on the house which didn't get installed properly, and rather than having to deal with it in cold weather, I just basically put a piece of sheathing up there that I had left over from sheathing the house and put some house wrap on it and tuck tape and sealed it up. And from the inside of the house I have it all insulated so it's not super breezy. And I haven't decided yet if I want to fix the door or if I actually want to completely seal that off and not make it a door, because I think eventually the right hand window where you see the extension cords coming from that are hanging there, that's the north side of my house is eventually going to have a deck. And I'm thinking that on the right hand where the right window is my kitchen, and I just want to make it a galley kitchen. So I have some work to do in the house where I want to move a partial wall so that it makes the kitchen a little bit more galley style-ish. And that window will actually be converted into eventually a patio door that's going to come out onto the back deck, which means that I don't need a back door if I'm going to have a door where that window is. Anyway, so here, this big pile of wood that you see here was inside the shed, and I took it out of the shed and I piled it on pallets, and some of it's fallen down, and it's actually just a massive habitat for snakes, really. Garden snakes, of course. We don't get poisonous snakes here, thank goodness. Anyway, I do have a lot of snakes actually, but they're really good for the, biodiversity of the property. And there's some pieces of limbs and things like that I've been cleaning up with the rake and picking up that storms, and some of them will be going into the raised garden beds because they're raised. I'm not going to fill, once I enclose build the raised garden beds, I'm not going to fill that whole thing up with soil. I'm going to, put a lot of this wood in here because this wood doesn't throw any heat. It's good for burning and a bonfire, but it doesn't throw any heat. And I've been using it around the garden areas. So some of it's going to go in to fill those garden boxes up. And more twigs here, as you can see. Just going to walk around here a little bit. All this stuff that you see here, this here frame here, this was I think it was like a 12 by 15 or 15 by 20, I can't remember which, but it's like a sun canopy. And I guess it was 2022, we had a late snow, and it actually ripped the roof, and it broke one of these bars here. Oh yeah, here it is here. So it bent this one, and it broke it. So I can certainly use this for something in the garden for sure. Not going to throw it out. But all this other stuff you see here, this was all here. I've cleaned up quite a bit of it actually. There was old oil tanks and drums filled with fuel of some kind. This wooden structure that you see right here, that was here also, and it was holding some pieces of vinyl flashing and stuff like that. So you can see a peak here at the well right there. All this row, like there's old mattress, somebody burnt the mattress and the metal's still there. So speaking about this shed, so this shed was built and put in place. It started off with the smaller section that you see at the front. You see the two different roof levels there, and the smaller roof level was built first, and then this shed was added on afterwards. So let's walk on over here. I just got to be careful where I walk, guys. It's not the most level property, that's for sure. This will give you a better idea too. So there you go. So it's actually the furthest one away where the electricity comes into. That was probably the original shed that came here, or cabin, or whatever they used it for. And then this one, the second part, was built on afterwards. We'll take a walk in here. It's just basically and as you can see, like, look at the holes, and nobody put any siding on it, and there's all kinds of rot up there. So it really needs some attention. And when they built it, and I did some, so you can see all kinds of crap in here, and old sinks that were left here. And there's my lawnmower, which I'm going to have to dig out pretty soon. And just things that I didn't get around to cleaning up last fall. But you can see the back side of it is rotting. And what ended up happening was these walls down towards the ground. So instead of actually putting a sill in, the previous owners decided that they were going to just fall a few trees, and then they built the trees right on top of they fell the trees, and then they built the walls on top of so it's just open ground. They built the walls right on top of these fallen trees, and that was what they used as their sills. And the roof is leaking. I've put, not the first year, not for 2022 it wasn't, but then in 2023 it started. And this is probably the third repair that I've done on it. It's leaking in one spot only. And friends of mine that visited from Ontario last year helped me retarp it, but the winter and the winds and the conditions of things that we get around here, it's all broken. As you can see, it's blowing in the wind there. So there's where my hydro comes in. Here's the hydro pole right there. Now, there was some delays, because if you look at this hydro pole, and I'm going to turn directly around back to the north facing, if you see that opening over there in the woods, there used to be a hydro pole over there, and there was a wire that went from that hydro pole to this hydro pole. And when I went to build, I had to wait for clearance and all this and that. There was a bunch of stuff I had to do before I could build, and hydro company had to come, and they had to take down that wire that was going all the way across the property, because basically what it was causing a second, what they call a title restriction. And so anyway, this house wasn't here. The only thing that was standing basically was this shed. So what I did was I converted it into a makeshift cabin for me to live in while I was building this house. And it didn't have an electrical entrance in it. So I'm just going to bend underneath this wire here. It didn't have an electrical entrance in it, so I had to put one in. And so it cost me, for a 200 amp entrance, just get the light on in here because it's an absolute mess in here. Here we go. There's the light. There's the 200 amp entrance. I have a chipmunk that's wrecking havoc in here, of course. All this was temporary, of course. I do have pictures. It's seen better days. But I have a whole bunch of extra insulation left over. I have just using it, like I said, as a storage thing. Extra cabinets and stuff that I didn't use, insulation. I have a built-in wall-mounted oven to still go into the house. And this is a built-in countertop stovetop. But anyway, as you can see, there's a 200 amp entrance there. And with the supplies and all the wire and the panel itself and everything, it ran me to the tune of about $2,600 Canadian. And when I was finished the house, or finished building it, because it's certainly not finished, I'm just going to lean here for a slight moment. We're on the west side here now. And when I was finished with the house, just before I got finished, I contacted my electrician and wanted to obviously move the entrance from the house or from the shed into the house. And what ended up happening, maybe so that you can see me, I'll try and turn this around. I don't know how to though, guys, sorry. I don't want to push any buttons and have it stop on me. So what ended up happening was that my electrician, COVID and everything really changed the dynamics on my build. And the prices of everything, you know, basically doubled and tripled and sometimes quadrupled on building materials and, you know, electrician work and plumbing work and all this and that. And anyway, he wanted an additional $3,000 to $4,000 to move it and rewire the entire house and stuff like that. And that just wasn't doable for me. So this is why you see these. Okay, I'll back up a little bit more here. So what I ended up doing was this pipe that's in the side of the north side of the house. I'll come a little bit closer. So there's a pipe right here. This is a pipe. And these are all heavy duty exterior extension cords. I have 6 of them in total. In the winter time, 2 of them run heaters. And then the other 4 are just basically for everything else that I use in there. So I'll be moving this, taking down this pallet. It was just something to temporarily hold the wires up so that they weren't resting in the snow and I didn't have to deal with that. And then I have these tie straps or whatever you want to call them. Anyway, I just have them holding the wire up there, as you can see. So I will take those down now that the weather is nicer, and I probably am going to end up doing the majority of the wiring myself inside the house, and then just getting an electrician to come and oversee it to make sure that all the wiring was completed properly. And of course they will have to, I'm not certified or anything, to move an electrical panel into the house rather than run it underground from. Now that was a suggestion that another electrician had. Rather than move the 200 amp entrance from the shed here into the house, just get a different panel for in the house and then go underground. And I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I just want to move the 200 amp entrance from where it is here inside into the utility room, and then the hydro company can come. They'll have to put a new manifold over here on that corner of my roof on the house, and then they can just switch it from here to there. The only issue is that when they do come and disconnect, and then the electrician comes and does his work, he does his work and then he notifies them that his work order's completed. That could take anywhere between 10 to 14 days of going without power. While I'm here, I guess I am on the west side. This big, so there's my west door right here. I just want to show this. This was a housewarming gift that my mom gave me. Let you have a look at it. You can see all my pepper plants and stuff in the window. And yeah, so anyway, this underneath these tarps are, this is a pallet full of concrete. And while I'm here, underneath where the snowblower is, there's a hole there. As you can see, there's one here too. It's sunk in. And then underneath these garden chairs, there's another hole here. And then on the other side of this walkway, there's a hole right there. So basically, that's what that concrete is for. It's to put sonotubes like these ones that went down in the ground. There's one there. And then underneath that chair over there, it doesn't have a sonotube. So I have the sonotubes in the shed, and I have the concrete right there. To get mixed up, but these holes now, we didn't get a chance to finish it. in 2022. So now they need to be dug out again so that I can get the proper sonotubes in there and yeah, get the concrete mixed up and get the holes filled in and the sonotubes down and the concrete in so that this is going to form a deck on the west side here. This will be a 10-foot deck. And on the north side here, this will be a 10-foot deck. And hopefully where this window is eventually, there'll be a sliding door or French door or something coming out of the kitchen to come out onto the deck. Now, this shed itself, I really don't want it to stay here. What I'm thinking about doing is actually moving it on the other side. If you see where over there, on the west side there, where those pallets are up, it looks like 3 bins over there. That's just a composting bin. And what I would like to do is, I'll show you once I get over to that side, I would like to move the shed most likely over there. So thank you very much for spending some time with me, and I look forward to continuing the vision in the next video with you. Thanks for stopping by.